Okay guys, I'm insulating behind the fireplace, the wall, and I want to show you guys because there's such a big deal about if that's going to catch on fire or burn, or you shouldn't put that behind there or any of those things. So I wanted to burn this insulation and see just exactly what it does, because I'm assuming all kinds of things will melt, but I need to compare it to the actual foam spray fire insulation. But here's what it did. I did it thinking I was recording and I wasn't, but I'll show you guys it in action too. So it didn't catch. It just melted. So I'm using this guy. And then it goes out. So I think this is going to be fine to have behind the fireplace. And obviously it's not going to be exposed. There's going to be wallboard in front of that OSB, and then in front of that we'll have the Wonder Board. So I think we're all good and all safe. And I'm using this because I have it, and I don't want to go spend money on something that I already have that will actually work, because it doesn't catch on fire. Okay, so working on the fireplace section, we're going to make a cabinet underneath the fireplace. It's about 16 inches deep. So we had to do a floor. We're going to paint that. We got to put the wallboard up. We got to put the insulation back behind here. And then we'll be able to start closing everything in and actually finally get a fireplace. We're excited. Kira's eating pizza. I caught her. I caught her in the midst of eating. So we actually have another sheet of 3/4 inch plywood underneath the countertop. We're going to pull that out. But I want to stuff the insulation in first, get the wallboard up first, and then we can move on from there. So I got a few things that I've got to change out. This plug has to go to a deeper plug. Take all this off. This is really, really hard to film in this particular spot because there's just really no room. So I'm going to do the best that I can, but most likely I'm just going to show you guys after I'm done working on it. Nobody needs a bunch of pictures of my butt. No booty shots. All right, let's get to this. So this project was actually started in late October, early November, before Kira left. So that's why you see Kira in the video. She is not back yet. I'm just getting you guys caught up on the things that we've gotten done up until current day. So if you're interested in a tiny home build, stay tuned. We're going to be continuing. I am continuing to work on this to get this little house finished. And then hopefully we can move on to some bigger and better things. Now this section in here is about 5 feet. And I really was undecided if I wanted to keep it this big or to actually add another cabinet in here. And now that I've lived with it for a little while, I love the amount of space that I have in this section, because I'm actually hanging my coats up on that plywood side that you see. And they're able to stay warm and dry all winter. And then we have space to set boots, or I have space to set wood that needs to dry right next to where the fireplace ends up being. So I have made the decision. I am going to be keeping this particular length. You know, we're going to be adding a metal back piece and extending the shiplap over into the sections that don't need actual metal coverage. But this is pretty much where we ended at this spot. I really wanted to finish it, but that wasn't the case. We just, honestly, you guys, I've been struggling a lot with my health. Okay, so we got that part done. It's almost 6 o'clock. kind of think I'm going to call it for the night and do a little bit in the morning, and then we're going to get on firewood cutting. We have all day tomorrow, and then it's supposed to rain, so we're going to get as much firewood done as we can. But it's also going to be 27 degrees Wednesday night, and we need the fireplace in here and some firewood to burn with it. So I may paint this bottom part. I'm going to paint it black. So this is going to end up being the bottom, the floor of a open cabinet to put firewood in. So I've got some black paint, and it's going to be 16 inches high, 24 inches deep. So we'll be able to stack a bunch of firewood in there. I think maybe I'll slap some paint on that. So one of the cats brought something in. Kira's looking for it. We don't know what it is.
It's a bird.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She shoved it in my boot.
Can we just say that she gave it to you? She must think you're a bad hunter.
Apparently. She also apparently thinks I need to have it in my boot for a snack
Aww,
later.
poor little birdie.
Adult.
But we do have good hunters for cats. That is an adult. Those are really small birds.
This is the tiniest thing I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
those are little bitty birds. But, all right, you guys will see you in the morning. Bye. They love it.
Does this count as a pumpkin party?
All right, let's get the pigs. So this is a natural way to worm the animals, the livestock. So in the fall, we try to get them pumpkins. But since we've got the pigs separated, Kira's going to have to drop it outside and then pick it up and give it to them. You really want them to get the seeds. And the turkeys have been hanging out all day. Hi, girlies. Hi, girlies. Oh, we definitely need to get them straw. What are you waiting on?
I was going to tell you something funny. Since you're recording, I was going to, like, do that. Because most people think all pigs eat meat. No, my boy pig's a vegetarian.
He's a weirdo. BP, you're a weirdo.
I got no complaints.
Okay, so we're working on the fireplace. Oh, we got a little hunter going after a rabbit. We gotta cut down that big old weed that showed up.
That's a weed?
Yeah.
I literally thought that was a tree.
I did too, but there weren't any trees in here. It is a tree, some form of tree. The base of that sucker. We can cut that up and give it to the goats. They'd like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to go back in and get back to work on the fireplace. We'll have to bring you guys back and forth because my phone's almost dead. So we'll get something done and then we'll show it to you. Not the most fun to watch, but is what it is. Okay, so we added the brick and finished the cubby holes underneath. So this particular way I had to cut the least, which was my favorite. We do have a concrete board underneath, but I do feel like I need to fill those holes. But I think that looks pretty good. So tell me what you guys would do. Would you offset them like you're supposed to and cut bricks? My thing was I didn't want to cut any bricks, and we're off like 1.5 inches on this side, so I'll have to figure out what I want to do there to fill that particular side. But I like this, but how would you do it? Now I'm like, I've got to put something in those holes, either pebbles or I'm thinking some kind of concrete filler or something. I don't know. But I do have the concrete board underneath. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to get started on the metal on the back and get that all figured out, because I think that's the next probably hardest stage. And then we'll be able to bring in the wood stove. So we're getting it done. Pretty excited about it. It's going to be nice. I think having all that space for firewood underneath. And then I like this being opened. And then all the space to set shoes on and such to dry will be really nice. So last night my moose ran out in front of my son's truck and he hit it. And he was going about 60 miles an hour. And it was a cow. And obviously she had to be put down. And we got first rights of refusal for it. So we went and got a moose. And thanks to Darla and Randy who showed up to help me do this on the side of the road so we can get it loaded, because she's a big girl. She's probably about 800 pounds when I Googled what the weight of an adult female is. We did the basic beginning process, field processing last night. Got our legs hung up, but there was no way Kira and I could get the torso set up. So what we're doing now is we're going to grind all of this except for the back strap. So there's probably a lot that's bruised. I have no idea how much we're going to get. We've never had moose. So who of you have had moose? Because we've never had it. I'm really excited to try it. And same with Kira. She's very excited. We've been actually talking about this for a while to try to get a hunting tag, which is a lottery draw here to be able to hunt moose. And it's a once in a lifetime hunt. You do get to do 2 now, so 1 bull, 1 cow, and this will not count against a hunting tag. So that's pretty cool to know. And if you guys don't know, you can actually get signed up on a list for this type of situation. So like if we would have refused and said, no, we don't want it, then they would have called a person on the list, and they just call down the list, and whoever answers, you have to go get it right then. You have to take all of it. And like, even though we processed it there on the side of the road, we took everything. So we have the guts, we have everything. Nothing is allowed to be left behind. And we're going to finish processing it today. So that's what we're doing. We still need to finish the fireplace. And of course today, it's going to be 70 degrees. It's like the warmest day this week. So we've got to get on this. So this was a huge feat, the two of us trying to get as much meat off of this carcass as we possibly could. And with the weather warming up, we had to work really hard and really fast as much as we could. I ended up getting about 140 pounds of meat, which doesn't seem a lot when you think moose. But so I was actually looking up some random facts on moose, and I'm going to share them with you while we're processing through this. So moose is actually part of the deer family. They're the largest of the deers, and only the bulls grow antlers, which can actually reach 5 feet wide and weigh up to 40 pounds, which is insane. And if you've ever seen a video of them when they shake their head and they just fall off and they shed them, how cool would that be to come up along a set of those sheds? That would be really cool. So they actually live to be between 15 and 25 years. And basically it said that they were eaten by wolves. That's their predator. That's the issue that they actually deal with. I thought it was super interesting that calves, the babies, grow about an inch a day. They grow extremely fast. And by the time that they're 5 days old, they can outrun a person. And again, I could understand that because you would definitely be prey as babies. So moose are one of the animals that actually have 4 stomachs. And this is another thing that I thought was extremely interesting, is the fact that the first stomach can hold 50 pounds of food a day. And then they regurgitate that and they continue to eat that later, very similar to what my goats do and cows. But I just thought that was super interesting. 50 pounds. Could you imagine carrying 50 pounds of grass and such in your stomach, walking around with all of that? I don't know. I think that would be a lot. Moose are actually very good swimmers, and they're herbivores, so they only eat plants. Their favorites are willow and aspen, birch, maple, pin cherry, and mountain ash, are a lot of the trees that they eat. They eat mostly the leaves and the twigs of the woody plants, which I thought was really pretty interesting. Moose can run up to 35 miles per hour, and they can swim at 6 miles an hour for up to 2 hours. They're actually really known for being really good swimmers. Moose actually have really bad eyesight, which, as I jokingly told Kira, made it that Bowinkle, that was actually legit. He really did need to have glasses because they have really bad eyesight. They are actually very aggressive. And they are, unlike deer, they actually are reclusive. They pretty much stay alone unless it's breeding season, and then they, are together. But in general, they hang out by themselves. So they are the largest member of the deer family. They stand about 6 feet tall from hoof to shoulder, and the males weigh in at more than 1,000 pounds. The females actually come in at about 8. This one that Victor hit was a female. And when they're talking about 800 pounds, that's everything. That's the bone, the head, all of that. So basically, when I was researching it, you pretty much get around 300 pounds of meat off of a female moose. So I got about half. Half of her was really pretty bruised, and the meat would have been good for dog food or for pig feed or that kind of thing. But unfortunately, we were battling the warmth and the flies and all of that. So we just did the best that we could, got what we could. We're grateful for the amount of meat that we did get, but it was very expensive with a totaled truck. Kira's pantsing the moose leg. Okay, well, the sun's coming out, as you can see, and it's warming up. It's going to be 70 here today. So we jumped to the legs so that we can get those done, because I feel like we're going to get the most meat off of them. We got one leg done, almost. I need to get the reciprocating saw and cut up some bits. We're going to go ahead and move to this. We're just trying to salvage as much meat as we can. And so far, the meat looks really good. We'll see how this one is, because this might be the side she got hit on. So there may be some more damaged meat on this side than there was on the other, because there wasn't any on the other. So I'm just going to keep bringing you guys back and forth, because it does become a little bit monotonous cutting these things off, cutting them up. And eventually we'll show you how much we actually got. Hopefully. We're not going to really be able to weigh it because I don't have a scale. something that, again, that is super interesting is the fact that a moose can kick in any direction with its front hooves. Moose are considered very smart animals, but they have little fear in their native habitat. Thus, they are more tolerant of intrusion into their areas. And that the bull moose can be very territorial. Like, I've seen videos of moose just stomping somebody. And that's actually really scary because they are huge. They're like big, like a horse. So the gestation period is from 216 to 240 days. And the babies stay with mama for 1 year. And then they take off on their own. And they can travel up to 5 to 10 miles a day and go 100 miles within a week. And that was something that surprised me, because I assumed with them being territorial that they would want to stay in one specific area, but apparently they travel quite a bit. So that's actually really interesting. Maybe I need to look up and see if someone has tagged moose so that you can actually follow them and see where they're at. Probably not, because that would be an issue with hunting. Are you excited?
I am freaking out. Oh, no.
It's been so long since you've been to Anacortes.
It has.
Here, this guy must know things, so he's going to help you out.
Okay.
So Kira took off and went to her friend's wedding over in Anacortes, Washington. I wasn't real impressed with the man who helped load and unload. He could absolutely care less and really was not friendly at all. So she said that she did not like the trip on the train and may not do that ever again. Unfortunately, she traveled mostly at night, so she didn't get to see a lot of scenery and such. But she got over there. She had a fantastic time. And then she did ride the train back. She was gone for about a week. Well, it's Monday morning and dropped Kira off at the train station last night. I guess 1 o'clock in the morning. She's headed to a friend's wedding. And so it's just me this week by myself. I've got to finish processing this moose. I've got the 2 hind legs left to do, and hopefully the neck. We're just gonna have to look at the meat and see how it is, but I feel like I'm getting quite a bit off of there, but the goal is to finish that today, and then I'll show you how much I got. I'm kind of bummed because the side obviously that got hit by the truck is just, the whole side is bruised, and it actually broke her back, so that was what happened there. And she did have to be put down at the scene, so she didn't die on impact, but that whole side is really bruised. And something that I thought was very interesting, and I rarely wonder how we actually heal from bruises, because the bruised meat was like a lot of blood in it and very mushy, like it just deteriorated the muscle in there. So it's not particularly edible for people. We don't really eat it, but you can feed it to animals and that kind of stuff. And if I had more freezer space, I would absolutely just kind of grind it all up and have it for the dogs. But I definitely am going to prep for that, because this would be a way for me to get back onto the raw meat, raw vegetable diet that my dogs are usually on. But we're having a rainy day, and putting these up has saved the cats. Hi, Lacey. Hi, Lacey. Are you hiding? So she's been playing around on that, but it's raining all day. It's going to rain all day. It's supposed to stop about 3, so that'll be good. And then it may start up throughout the night again, but yep. I just gotta finish up with this moose. So, bringing water inside. We're still doing this, but I'm really hoping to change that out this year, because I'm ready to just turn on the faucet and have water come out. But for now, we fill up those guys from the IBC tote, that we get at the water distribution center, and bring it home, and that's how we have water in the house. A load of logs to split. These are in cuts from a company that actually sells firewood, so they're seasoned. They're a little dirty, but who cares? So with my smaller fireplace, I need 10 inches or smaller for that particular fireplace. So hopefully most of these will work and I won't have to try to cut them in half. I do have, under the brown tarp there, is a cord, about a cord of split firewood that's 16 inches. So I need to cut them in half before I can use them. So a lot of work still left to do. Wasn't something that I thought about when I got the smaller fireplace. Okay, so supposedly you can cook frostbitten freezer burn meat if you season it really well, you cook it really slow. They were saying stews, that kind of thing. I don't really like stew, and I didn't want to add a bunch of vegetables, so I was thinking the taco seasoning would add a bunch of really good flavors. So we'll see how that goes. We're just going to slow cook it. I'll let you guys know. So I'm doing carnivore diet, so I can't do mashed potatoes. So I mixed up some cream cheese that I needed to use up with cottage cheese. And we're gonna smush some on the plate. Give the meat something to hang out on. So I've actually already tasted it and it was freaking amazing. So I'm super excited for dinner. You can't, well, in the piece that I tried, you could not taste the freezer burn at all. You could taste the taco seasoning. That's dinner. So I realized I hadn't shown you guys after we put in the wood stove. Now, obviously, this is all just temporary. I want to get an elbow that's single, what is that called? Just a single pipe instead of the double pipe. That one's a double pipe. And the storage at the bottom has been fantastic. We ended up going with this brick from Home Depot, and I absolutely love it. I do need to still get the metal done on the back and put the shiplap on, but other than that, it's done. Or it will be done. It's not done yet.